guys? Steven Smith here, back again, bringing you one more update video on the coronavirus. I'm actually back in Canada now. Just recently flew back from Taiwan. It was about last Wednesday and today is Tuesday, so it's almost been a whole week. I've been just getting over my jet lag and getting readjusted to my Canadian lifestyle, although it is much different now because of the whole COVID situation here. So let's go over a couple of changes. First thing I want to talk about though is my flight. So the airport. As you can see here, it was very empty. You know, you can see there's barely any people here. When we were checking in, there was just 4 or 5, 6 attendants. We didn't have to line up to check in. We just went straight up to the counter. They weighed our things, asked us a few questions, of course. And then we head to our gate. From there, you can see another video here. We're waiting for our flight, and this area is also empty. Of course, to go back to Canada, you have to be a Canadian citizen. The borders have been closed to everybody else. So lucky for us, we are Canadian citizens. So we're one of the few that are here. And now we're getting onto the plane. And you can see I did a quick scan of the whole plane, in our section anyway. And there's only a handful of people. Now, I've kind of felt a little weird filming everybody, so I only took the one video in the plane. But you can clearly see that there aren't that many people. In the section in the back, there's only 2 people. I don't know how many were in the front, but not that many. As far as I could tell, it looked like there was more crew members on the plane than there were actual passengers, which seems kind of crazy, but we're kind of in crazy times. And one thing I did want to mention is that on the plane, all the attendants are being very careful. They have masks, and they even have sort of rain jacket type thingies on. Not as much as this one passenger that I did see, and I'll show you a quick picture there. She's looking very safe. Of course, sometimes that's what you gotta do. One last thing I wanted to mention about the plane is that as soon as we got in, there was a pretty heavy alcohol odor. Now, I'm not talking about like beers and tequila or whatever. I mean the disinfectant. The whole plane was disinfected a few times, I'm sure, because the whole plane had a little bit of that smell, which, you know, can be a little uncomfortable on a 13-hour flight. But that aside, I'm home now, and when I got back, the whole airport was empty. Got a few videos here of my dad waiting for us.
Pearson International, 9:30 on Wednesday night. It's almost empty. I'm the only one here waiting. I mean, it's crazy. I've been here every 2 years picking up Amanda, Stephen, and Jackie. It's always just elbow to elbow, peeking. And look at the board. There's, I don't know, 24 flights, but you know, the earlier ones were here at 12 o'clock, 12:50. So, man, COVID, hello. Crazy. Comfortable though, so I'm just chilling.
On the flight, we filled out a quick form to say that we will quarantine and where we'll be in case they want to check on us. And then as we were leaving, they asked us a few questions. Mainly it was, do you feel sick? And of course we answered no. And the other question, or not a question, was that you have to stay home for 14 days. That was it, and we went through. No temperature test, no any other tests. I'm sure in Taiwan they would have taken our temperature and maybe done a few other tests, but not here, not yet anyway. But yeah, that could be one of the reasons why Taiwan has done so much better. All right, now that we've gone through the flight, let's talk about a quick overview. Let's do a quick overview of the whole situation here. So my last video, I talked about all the cases. It was about 2 weeks ago now. Today is April 14th. My last one was March 30th, March 31st, something like that. Anyway, in Taiwan, there were 306 cases. Now there are 393. So they've only gained 87 cases in 2 weeks, which seems absurd. In Ontario, we had 1355. Now we have 7,470. So we've gained 6,115 cases. Definitely not great. Canada as a whole. We had 6,320 cases. Now we have 26,163. So Canada gained 19,843 cases in the same 2 weeks that Taiwan only gained 87. Because the US has done so much worse, we'll do a quick comparison there. They had 143,101 cases last time. Now they're up to 589,418 cases. So they gained 446,317. That's quite a lot more than 87 new cases in Taiwan, which is, it's too bad, but we are starting to see the curve start to flatten. US had about 400,000 probably about a week ago. So in the last week, they've only gained 200-ish, which is still a ton, but they're really flattening their curve, I think. At least that's what it looks like. Now, in the whole world, there was 723,998 last time. Now there is 1.95 million thereabouts. So that's quite a bit more. But if we do the numbers again, like I've been doing, in the whole world, that only means that 0.0002% are infected, which is the equivalent to saying that 99.9998% of the population is healthy. So if you look at it that way, it's really not so bad. And as the curves are flattening, it's probably not going to be such a huge deal in the future. But again, we don't know for sure. But I'm just trying to stay positive here. So a couple things that I've noticed about Canada. As soon as I got in, it was pretty easy to get through the border. Very simple questions to get in. Maybe they should have done a few more checks on us to make sure. They are doing the quarantine, which is good. I'm not allowed to leave for 2 weeks, and they have my contact information, so they can call at any time and make sure that I am home. They haven't called yet, but it's only been a week, so we'll see if they do call. Now, coming into Canada was kind of a shock. The whole country, well, coming to Toronto, the whole city was much more quiet. The highways were quiet, and then getting into my neighborhood, it was very quiet here, which seemed very odd. So let's quickly talk about why Taiwan is so much better than the rest of the world. The first thing that I want to mention is that the transit in Taiwan is being cleaned much more thoroughly, much more often. As far as I can tell, they've really been doing a great job keeping it clean, doing a good disinfectant sweep every hour or so by the looks of it, and they're really staying on top of that. And on top of that, they are not letting anybody with a fever into the station. There are infrared cameras, I've talked about that before. And now it's mandatory to wear a mask while on transit. And that rule also goes for a lot of malls and banks and other highly populated buildings. Another thing is that there's hand sanitizer and alcohol disinfectant sprays almost everywhere you go. In the transit, you can get a little bit of hand sanitizer here. When I was in the airport in Taiwan, they had lots of alcohol sprays. I'm not sure about the airport in Canada because we were only here for a short time, coming in and out and then just going straight home. Obviously, after a 13-hour flight, you don't really want to stick around in the airport. I've also noticed that the alcohol wipes and hand sanitizer and masks are all very easily accessible in Taiwan. Well, not very easily, but they are accessible. You see, in Canada, you can't get any alcohol wipes or masks or anything of that sort, at least not through your local shop. But in Taiwan, almost everybody has a good spray bottle of alcohol and an abundance of masks. So another thing that Taiwan has done well is that they closed their borders early. They're one of the first to close their border to China after the whole epidemic broke out. And I think this is because of the SARS epidemic a few years back. It hit Taiwan a little bit harder, and they've learned from that last pandemic. Now, when I left, everything was about the same in Taiwan. Everybody's still going out. Transit is still pretty full. There are night markets every night, and there are still lots of people. That being said, there are a few less. Probably about 70 to 80% of people are going out, but the other 20 to 30 are staying home. So to finish off, Taiwan has done a better job because they've been faster to implement these changes, these lifestyle changes. And also, even before the pandemic started, about 50% of people were wearing masks before the pandemic even started. So lots of people already had masks there. All right, so the last thing I want to mention is that you need to stay positive, right? Everything is getting better now. The curve is starting to flatten. You can see from the numbers just in Ontario, you can see that little chart there. And you can see that it's not increasing every day. Well, hopefully that stays that way and everybody is in quarantine now. The whole country quarantining now. So we'll see. Hopefully that has a positive effect and we can get back to our normal lives maybe by the summer, who knows. The only thing you need to worry about is if you are unhealthy yourself. So if you're overweight or you've been smoking a lot, then you might want to be a little more careful. But for those of us that are really healthy, that are active, eating good, have good sleep routines, then that's great. You have nothing to worry about. Of course, there are the older folks. You need to be careful of them. Make sure you don't transmit the disease to somebody more vulnerable. But if you're not old, or even if you are old, you can always work on your health. Do some workouts. Use this quarantine time to do some workouts. Eat healthy, go on a few walks, and really improve yourself. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. That was my travel vlog, Corona update from a Canadian that was in Taiwan. Now I'm back into Canada, and the next few videos should be about guitar. So if you want to learn how to play guitar during your quarantine time, then definitely subscribe. I might do one more coronavirus thing at the end of this. We'll see how it all goes, and we'll see if I can see any more differences here. I haven't been able to go outside yet, but I'd definitely like to look around a little bit and get a better idea of how Canada is handling the coronavirus. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, drop me a comment if I missed anything or if you have any questions and I can try to clarify something. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.